Namaste, welcome to Sai Economics Point. In today's lecture, we are going to learn about production function, which is very important for all competitive exam. Okay, so let's start. Today's topic is production function. Okay, say what is it? Production function is the relationship between physical inputs and uh, physical outputs. That means physical inputs of factors of production and physical outputs of a farm. Or the technical relationship between input and output is known as what? Production function. Okay. Professor Samuelson defined production function as the technical relationship which reveals the maximum amount of output, okay, capable of being produced by each and every set of inputs. Okay, and mathematically we can express the production function as q equal to function of n l k, okay, o t r. Okay, then q, what does q represents? Q represents total output. Okay, and f is the function of n. What is n? N means the land and the building. Okay, and L represents labor. Okay, K represents capital, and A represents organization, and T stands for time and technology, and R stands for raw material. Okay, then next we will discuss types of production function. Okay, generally there are two types of production function. One is short term production function, and second one long run production function. Okay, so before discussing what is short-run production function and what is long-run production function, okay, we must know what is short-run and what is long-run. So let's start short-run. Okay, short-run refers to an operational time period in which the output of a farm can be changed, can be varied by changing the variable factors only. Okay, then what are the variable factors? Labor, raw material, fuel are the variable factors. Okay, in the short run, okay, we can't change the fixed factors because short run means we have limited time period. So within that short period of time, it is not possible on the part of the producer to change the fixed factor like building, machinery, capital, equipments. All are fixed. All these are the fixed factors, and we can't change. Okay, in the short run, production function exhibits the law of a variable proportion. Okay, so this is the short run. Okay, now let's start what is short run production function. Okay, the functional relation that exists between input and output in the short run, okay, is called short run production function. So very simple. Okay, the technical relation that exists between physical input and physical output in the short run is called short run production function. So in the short run, okay, so please keep in mind, in the short run at least one factor is fixed. Okay, and we can change the level of output by changing the variable factors only, because within the short period of time it is not possible to change the fixed factor like building, machine, capitals. Okay, so if you want to change the level of output, okay, we have to change the, or we have to employ the variable factors only. So here output changes due to change in the variable factors only. Okay, so in the short run, production function is fixed. Production function is fixed factor is the cause of diminishing return. So in the short run, production function, okay, fixed factor is the cause of a diminishing return, right? So mathematically we can write, say, short run production function as q equal to function of a l k bar. Okay, where q is the level of output, l labor, which is a variable factor. Okay, and what is k bar? K bar is the capital, okay, which is a fixed factor and which is constant. Okay, so this is the short run production function where at least one factor is fixed, right? So next is long run production function. So before discussing what is long run production function, we must know what is long run in economics. What do you mean by it? Okay. So long run is an operational time period in which the output of a farm can be changed or can be varied by changing all factors. Okay. In the long run, all factors are variable and nothing is fixed in the long run. So mind it, and in the long run production function is subject to the law of returns to scale. Right, now let's discuss what is long run production function. Okay, so the functional relation that exists between physical input and output in the long run is called long run production function. So it's very simple, very simple. Okay, that it's no need to memorize that what is short run production function, what is long run production function. If you have to keep in mind what is short run and what is long run, they can easily you can, it becomes very easy for you people that you can say what is long run production function. The short production function that exists in the long run production function, and the functional relationship or technical relationship that exists in the short run between physical input and output is short run production function. Okay, and next thing is production can be increased or decreased by changing all inputs in the long run. As we have already discussed, nothing is fixed in the long run, all are variable. Okay, so the long run production function mathematically you can express q is a function of a labor and capital, where q quantity of production, L represents labor input, K represents capital input, are all the factors are a variable. Then next, types of a long run production function. Okay, so long run production function is for two types. One is homogeneous and non-homogeneous. Again, homogeneous production function is divided into two types: linear homogeneous production function, non-linear homogeneous production function. Okay, again, non-homogeneous production function is again divided into two types: linear non-homogeneous production function, non-linear non-homogeneous production function. Okay, so let's discuss one by one. First, what is homogeneous production function? Okay, so a production function is said to be homogeneous if an increase in the amount of inputs by certain times, say it is increased lambda times. Okay, so lead to an increase in output by the same lambda times. Okay, suppose it is increases by lambda to the power r times. Okay, for example, x is a function of two inputs, that is labor and capital, and this function becomes homogeneous production function if the function, that is L, increases by lambda times, K increases by lambda times, and finally x increases lambda to the power r times. Okay, and if r equal to 1, then this production function is a your homogeneous production function. Okay, and here r represents the degree of homogeneity. So it depends whether a production function is homogeneous or non-homogeneous. It depends on the value of r. Okay, and r represents the degree of homogeneity. Degree of homogeneity. If r equal to 1, production function is linear. Okay, if r is not equal to 1, then production function is a non-linear. Right? Okay, so a homogeneous production function is of again two types. One is your linear homogeneous production function and a non-linear homogeneous production function. So let's discuss first, that is what is linear homogeneous production function. Okay, a production function is said to be linear homogeneous where output changes in same proportion as input changes. Okay, for example, suppose there is a function as we have discussed, that is x equal to function of lk, and this is increases by lambda times. So your function becomes your l into lambda and k into lambda. So your function becomes lambda times to the power r into x. Okay, and if lambda equal to 1, then your production function is a linear homogeneous, because it depends on the degree of a homogeneity. It depends on the value of r. If r equal to 1, then the production function is linear homogeneous production function. Okay. Similarly, non-linear homogeneous production function, if r is not equal to 1, then production function is non-linear. Okay. If r is greater than 1, okay, that means output changes more than input. Okay. Similarly, if r is less than 1, that means output changes less than input. So whether r is greater than 1 or r is less than 1, it is states non-linear homogeneous production function. So when r is not equal to 1, that means it is either is greater than or less than 1. So it is non-linear homogeneous production function. If it is equal to r equal to 1, then it is linear homogeneous production function. Clear? Then next is non-homogeneous production function. Okay. So in case of non-homogeneous production function, only one input changes and others are kept constant. Okay. So therefore it refers to the situation of a loss of a returns. Okay. And non-homogeneous production function is again of two types. One is linear non-homogeneous production function and a non-linear non-homogeneous production function. So first one, linear non-homogeneous production function. Okay. Means in case of linear non-homogeneous production function, the firms operates under laws of a constant returns. Okay. And in case of a non-linear non-homogeneous production function, the firms operates under either increasing returns or diminishing returns. Okay. So this is all about the production function, types of production function, that is in the short run production function, long run production function, and what are the types of long run production function. Okay. I hope I am clear, and this video is very helpful, and if so, please like, comment and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Have a nice day.